I love doing that. I really do. The seventh count, just like the seven troughs, seven seals, seven vials. But I do it the seventh count, you know, to show recognition of God's completion. You understand? Seven is a very special number to us. All right, brothers and sisters of God, good morning, good morning. How are we doing this morning? And today is Wednesday, so it looks like we made it through another night. I always give God thanks for another day of life, all right? Everything you got, all right? And I mean that literally. Everything you got. Once again, recap, yes, man creates, all right, from the materials of the earth. But common sense, with clarity, big time, who created the earth? Father, creator himself of all things, period. All materials of this earth. All right. Father created. Father owns it, not mankind. Father owns this earth. All right. And Father owns every soul that's in it, the good and the bad. He has the last word, final word, which way that soul's gonna go. All right. I don't know if I covered this yesterday. A new subscriber. Yeah, I think I already did already. Okay, about 174. Well, once again, good morning to you. Thank you. And may the Lord bless you according to the way you walk in his word, okay? And that goes for the rest of my brothers and sisters of God out there all over the world, in this country, wherever this platform is reaching, at Firm Believer 7. That's my channel. That's my handle, at Firm Believer 7. All right? Let's see, what else do I want to cover? And you know what? Always take a little time out. Pray for whoever it may concern, to whom it may concern, no matter where they are, no matter where they are in this world. Okay, you pray for them. Okay, whatever they may be going through. I know you don't know. That's why I like to say, Father, to whom this may concern, mentally, physically, and spiritually, or all above. Okay, that physically part covers the health issues. All right. That's why I do it. Whatever they may be going through, Father, is what I tell them. Have a hand in it. But of course, I had more to it. I just had to break that down. I didn't want to, because it's kind of personal. It's a personal thing when you go to Father, in prayer. You know what I'm saying? It really is. We have to use our own words. We have to let it come out and flow, within ourselves to Him. All right, not writing things on a piece of paper and notes and whatnot, reading from a script. But then again, some people, I understand. Let me clarify this. Some people may be a lot slower. So if you need to write down what you're going to say to Father on a piece of paper, that's fine. That's okay. Of course. I understand. God understands. Okay? All right, see what else. So we're going to kind of get to it today. I decided we're going to do a little bit in the Old Testament. We're going to go to Exodus today. All right, and we're going to kind of learn a little bit about the Passover that took place in the Old Testament. All right, Passover in the New Testament. Jesus hit the scene at that time. Remember, we're going to go back. We're going to go, in a later time, later day, to refresh our memory or learn about what the true Passover means in the New Testament. But we're going to kind of go back to, according to the days of Moses, what the Passover means at that time, at that ancient time. Why was it called the Passover? And what took place to make it be called the Passover. So, see what else? There's something else I feel like I'm missing. I guess that's it. Oh, hold on. Let me get my pen. Let me get my coffee. All right. And let's go with it. I'm going to start first. In verse, what was it? I'm going to start first. All right. There's a reason why I'm doing it this way. In Exodus chapter 10, verse 16. All right? Remember, these 5 books or 6 books, Moses had a hand in it. He was also the lawgiver, all right, which God wrote with his personal finger. So, let me kind of, hold on, this book needs to be open. Hold on, 1 second. It's amazing how everything just has to slide around. Okay, I know I need to get a rubber mat here or something. That'll keep things from moving around. All right, brothers and sisters, God, let's get with it, okay? I don't want to I don't want to waste too much time talking. Okay. Now, get a better position here. So, this is Exodus. We'll start a little bit in chapter 10. All right. Verse 16. There's a reason why I'm doing it this way. Okay, hold on. Let me go and mark it. Let me get my marker. It says, Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. This is Pharaoh after the plagues were taking place, and after, and the locust plague that took place. Remember, Pharaoh definitely was not a believer in God, the creator of all things. It's all about his God of Baal, the black, what was that? What was that, a black man bird statue? All right. This is why God kept his heart hardened, because he prayed to gods with no breath in it. Silly once again. I got to say it like that, okay? Okay, so 17 says, Now therefore forgive, I pray. Now look what he's telling Moses, okay? Now, and because Pharaoh's, claiming, he's realizing, that he's sinned against God and Moses, but he wasn't sincere about it. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, Pharaoh is saying to Moses, I pray thee, my sin only this once, he's saying, and entreat the Lord your God that he may take away from me this death only. Okay? Pretty much, I guess he's acting like, he's not saying I'm repenting or not, he's just saying forgive me. But you must come to repentance and ask forgiveness in that fashion and be genuine about it. In those ancient times. Okay, so anyway, okay, so we're going to go to 18 now, all right? We're doing a little bit of Exodus chapter 10, and we're going to jump to chapter 11. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord, all right? In 19, and the Lord turned a mighty strong wind, west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coast of Egypt. All right, why was that? How come there was no remaining none? Because God stretched out his hand. God is known to stretch out his hand back in those ancient times. If need be, this generation and in the latter days for sure, he will stretch out his hand. 20. But the Lord hardened. Look what it says right here. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. Why did he do that? So that he would not let the children of Israel go. Because of that fact right there, and because he knew the Pharaoh's heart. It wasn't genuine. All right? So God let him stay in that state. All right? He didn't have to harden, add more to it. All right? He knew that God knew that his actions against the Pharaoh will make his heart even worse. Stubborn. He already knew that. Right? The Pharaoh chose to be hardened, so God let him stay in that state. So now we're going to go to 21 real quick. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand towards heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. All right, 22. And Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. All right, 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days. It's funny how that number 3 took its course back at that moment, that time. Okay, the time of Egypt and Moses. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. What light? Light of God. All right. You know. And Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye, serve the Lord, only let your flocks and your herds be stayed. Let your little ones also go with you. All right. 25. And Moses said, thou must give us also sacrifice and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto the Lord our God. See, back in those days, God required that. Burnt offerings and sacrifices, okay, of these burnt offerings. They became burnt offerings. Our cattle also shall go with us, right? There shall not an hoof be left behind, for therefore must we take to serve the Lord our God, and me know not with what we must serve the Lord until we come thither. All right. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go. And Pharaoh, this was 27, and Pharaoh said unto him, get thee from me, take heed to thyself, and see my face no more. For in that day thou seest my face, thou shalt die. And coming to the conclusion of chapter 10, verse 29, and Moses said, thou hast spoken well. You see? Now listen to what Moses said right there. Okay? And Moses says, thou, talking to the Pharaoh, telling the Pharaoh, thou hast spoken well. I will see thy face again no more. You better believe it. So now I came to that part for a reason. Okay, for a reason. Okay, so remember, all right, when Moses stretched forth his hand towards heaven, right, and it said it wasn't so much Moses' hand that had the power, but it was God that stretched out his hand and blessed him, all right, to stretch out his hand to do the will of God. So anyhow, all right. Now we're going to start with Exodus chapter 11. Like I said, when Pharaoh says, now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sins only this once, and entreat the Lord your God, that he may take away from me this death only. God had mercy on him at that moment and allowed that part, just that one time only. And so what did Father do? He turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts, okay? All right. But the Lord instructed Moses, stretch out thy hand towards heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. So, that wasn't over yet, because he knew the Pharaoh's heart. So we're going to go ahead and continue with chapter 11, Exodus, all right? And this will explain why I decided to go to chapter 10 and start in 16 of Exodus chapter. Now we're in Exodus chapter 11. All right, let's do a little markings. And the Lord said unto Moses, yet will I bring one plague more upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. Now this is God saying in chapter 11, and the Lord said unto Moses, yet will I bring one more plague. Okay, well, upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards he will let you go hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. Okay? God's giving him confirmation this time after those 9 plagues, and the Pharaoh still wouldn't move. You know what I'm saying here? Even though it looked like he had a change of heart in verse 16, chapter 10, which he didn't, but God knew. That's why God kept his heart hardened, even his mind. Exodus chapter 11, verse 2. Speak now in the ears of the people, and let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. Okay? Basically, what that truly technically means, doesn't mean like borrow, like literally, like you get, let me borrow $50 from you. It means take. Everybody all together what you have. And from the Egyptians, which they're about to receive in payment for all their hardcore laboring. They're about to get paid as well in this due process. So, and the Lord gave and the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt, in the sight of Pharaoh, all right, servants, and in the sight of the people. Okay, before Moses, knowing that he was born of Hebrew, was exposed, before he killed that Egyptian soldier, right? He was one of them, right? Moses, he was great among, right, the house of Egypt and the people and whatnot, right? But of course, you know the story. One day, an Egyptian soldier decided to go ahead and go off on a poor, wretched man, and Moses killed him, a slave. Moses killed that Egyptian for beating down a slave for no reason. So anyhow, that's backwards. Let's keep it going. Let's continue to go forward. And Moses said, "Thus who? Thus saith the Lord." Okay, that's right. God said, "About midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt." Okay. Verse 5, and all the firstborn. Okay, and Moses said, "Thus saith the Lord." Okay, this is God talking now. Okay, Moses is saying what God is saying, what is about to do. Okay, he knew for sure this was going to go ahead and move the Pharaoh. Thus saith the Lord, about midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die from the firstborn of Pharaoh. What? The firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maid servants that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beast. Talking about the firstborn. Moses is saying what God is saying was about to happen. The firstborn of the Egyptian men, and of course of the animals, of beast. 6, which are about to perish. And there shall be a great cry throughout. What? A great what? And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it anymore. Now you notice they say like it anymore. Alright? All the killings, when you see death pass on by in different nations, well, that's because of the hands of their own hands, the men. Alright? It's not death itself, the mist, like it took place in Egypt, in that land. Alright? God sent death. It was a dark mist that passed on through. So, that's 6. Now let's go and flip the page. Exodus chapter 11. That's the reason why I came in. We're going to go and finish this chapter today, brothers and sisters of God. Okay, 17. 17, what? 7? Come on, brain, don't start acting stupid. Okay, so it says, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. 8. And all these, it says, and all these thy servants shall come down unto me and bow down themselves unto me, saying, get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. Okay, in a great anger. 9. We're coming to a conclusion of chapter 11, Exodus. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. Okay? And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of the land. All right? Now, we are going to continue why I went to 10, why I went to chapter 10, Exodus, verse 16, and I finished those verses, and we went to Exodus chapter 11, we finished that chapter. Tomorrow we're going to continue why I came here, the main reason why, Exodus chapter 12. If you like, read it for yourselves before I come back to you guys tomorrow. Okay? And conclusion of the lecture that I bring to you today regarding 10, 11, and 12 of Exodus. Okay, brothers and sisters, got that will be it for now. Lately, they've been kind of short, the videos, because the chapters are kind of short, but I love it. Now, we've been doing a little bit about, the minor prophets, the prophets mentioned in the Old Testament, or somewhat, a few here and there, a chapter here about that, a chapter here about that. Okay, regarding about the prophets. The real ones, that is, not the fake ones. Okay. So, you all have a blessed day today. All right, out there, wherever you may be. All right, and if you work at night and you see this video during the day, take time out, my brother or sister, okay, of God, okay. I'm saying here seriously. Take a little time out to Him, all right, with them, all right. It's good that we're fellowshipping, but saying you build that relationship, that personal, private, genuine love for Him relationship. That's real. Truth. Read chapter to chapter, verse to verse, and its completeness, so you may get a full understanding of what God and these ones that walk with God have to say about all things. The ones that walk with God bring these epistles to us because this is what the Lord has spoken of. All right? This is what took place in ancient times. It speaks about today's generation, and it tells about things in the latter days. All right, brothers and sisters, God, truth. Stay sharp out there.